Hey guys, Jeff here with Passive Income Unlocked, and in this video, I'm going to break down the numbers from the June income report. So, two things I want to go over real quick before I get started. One, I'm not a one-man show. I work with 3 others as a 4-person team. You can definitely do this on your own, make a lot of money, and be super successful, but there's also benefits to working with a team. So, or just working with one other person either. So one, you can bounce ideas off each other. You can collaborate. You can also specialize in different areas. So we do all those things, and I think it's a big part of why we've been really successful. The other thing I want to mention real quick is that none of the numbers that you see on here relate, whether it's revenue or expenses, relate to Passive Income Unlocked, whether it's the YouTube channel or the website. Everything you see on here just relates to the niche websites. We're not making any money with Passive Income Unlocked right now anyways, but even as we start to make money in the future, we're going to keep all that separate because I just want to show you what's possible with just niche sites themselves. So that being said, let's jump into the numbers. I'm looking at the income report right now on my computer. If you want to see it, it was just posted live as well. It's over at PassiveIncomeUnlocked.com. Has everything broken down to the penny. So let's just jump in. First thing I want to go over are the sites themselves. So we have 5 websites. One is newer, so I'm going to start with that one. So site number 5 is 9 months old, has 228 posts on it. So this is actually an experimental site for us. We went super broad with it, probably more so than our other sites, and those are very broad already. We also hired out 100% of the content, which we've never done before. We typically would write probably the first 100 or so posts ourselves, and that's part of our strategy, and I think it's a big reason why those sites start out really well, because when you write posts yourself, you just tend to do a better job than the people that you outsource it to. But in this case, we actually outsourced 100% of the content. We went super broad, and with going super broad, we didn't kind of dive in. We didn't target a sub niche early on like we typically would. So typically what we do is if your niche is something like fishing, you might target ice fishing first and write 50 to 100 posts, and then go into fly fishing or spear fishing or whatever, next, and do that. But in this case, we just took the whole niche as a whole. So if it was fishing, we just kind of started writing random posts on anything. So we took a completely different approach this time. It's up to just under 10,000 page views in June. It's going up every single month. So it's at month 9 now. We think it's going to be successful. It looks like it's getting close where it's going to hit that curve because it just keeps going up. So we're not really concerned about it, but because it's an experiment, we don't really know what to expect. With our other 4 sites, we have 2 that are about 2 years old, and then 1 that's about 3 years old, and then 1 that's just under 4 years old. So with those sites, they range from about 560 posts to 470 to 560 posts each. So total across the 5 sites, we have around 2,300 posts. We're posting 4 articles per site per week on each of the sites. And we like to treat all of our sites equally. We want to grow them consistently, same rate. So we're posting at the same frequency across all the sites. As you can see, some have more posts than others. That's because the age is a little bit different. And we also write a good chunk of the posts ourselves, even to this day. And so each of us have certain sites that we might focus on a little bit more, where we know a little bit more about the niche, and in that case we write more of the posts. So some of those sites will grow a little bit more quickly for that reason as well. So as far as traffic, I'll bring this graph up on the screen for you. Our traffic actually dropped in June just slightly, basically flatlined. If we had the same amount of days in June as in May, we would actually had more traffic if you were to do the math. But nonetheless, we basically flatlined, and that was kind of to be expected. So if you look at the traffic from February through May, you'll see that there was a nice upward trend. The reason for that is because we have seasonality in 3 of our sites, and they do really well across the spring, and they start to flatline in summer, and that's where we're at right now. So we kind of expected to kind of hit that wall there. Long as we're not dropping significantly, we're not really concerned about it. If we're flatlining or ideally going up, then we're happy. So, and I'll just point out real quick too on that graph, as you can see, you see 4 colors there. They're all very evenly spaced. Once again, each site, the 4 sites were over 250,000 page views each per month. The 5th site is on there as well. It's, like I said, it's under 10,000 page views. It's a very small blue sliver that you can't even see on there unless you look very closely. Maybe in a few months you'll actually be able to see it, but we'll see. So next, to get into the revenue, so we made a grand total of $41,000, a little bit over $41,000 in June, and I'll bring the graph up for this as well. As you can see, the orange on the graph represents ad revenue, so that's where the majority of our money, about 95% of our revenue, comes from. And this month was the biggest month yet by far. So last month was our biggest month prior, and that was $37,000. Before that, our biggest month was $35,000, and that was in December. So this was a pretty big jump for us. And as I mentioned earlier, we actually had lower traffic, but yet our revenue jumped by about $4,000. So the reason for that, and we kind of expected this to be the case, even with the flatlining traffic. The reason for that is because most of our money comes from ad revenue, and ad revenue actually follows a pattern throughout the year, month to month, quarter to quarter. So basically, with ad revenue, the way it works is every single quarter, advertisers have different budgets, and they start over at every quarter, or at least that's kind of how it appears. So basically, what you'll see is the first month will be lower, the second month within a quarter will be a little bit higher, and the third month in a quarter will be the highest, and then it starts over in the next quarter, and so on. In the fourth quarter, advertisers spend quite a bit more, so that quarter is a little bit higher, but it still follows the same pattern where you have October will be one rate, November will be much higher, December will be much higher after that. So it's to be expected. And with that being said, yes, we made a lot more money with less traffic in June, but next month we could potentially have more traffic and make less money. So we're expecting probably to see a revenue drop next month, and it could be significant. We'll have to wait and see because we're starting a new quarter, so the RPMs are going to be a lot lower. So, and speaking of RPMs, next I'll bring up the Mediavine table here. This just shows our revenue with Mediavine, so that's the advertising network that we use. So we made about $39,000 from Mediavine. And as you can see, even though our traffic was pretty well balanced, the revenue was not quite as well balanced. And that's because we have different RPMs per site. And RPM is revenue per 1,000 impressions. At least that's how Mediavine measures it. And for our 4 sites that are making money through Mediavine, they ranged from $28 to $41 in June. So those are really, really good numbers. It depends on your niche. Some you're going to see lower, some you're going to see even higher. It can be even over $50. But 28 to 41 is fantastic. We're super happy with that. And I just want to point out, this is all with informational content. We do not target buyer intent content at all. Site number 1, which is listed on there, has the lowest amount of revenue. That's the only site that has buyer intent content on it. And we had some buyer intent content early on site number 1, then we switched gears and went to informational only, and that's what we've been doing since then. So as you can see, you can make a lot of money and still have high RPMs just writing informational content with no buyer intent. It's not product based at all. So just something to keep in mind. And those keywords are a lot easier to find, by the way, the informational ones. So aside from Mediavine ad revenue, we also made a chunk of money from Amazon Associates. So affiliate links, we made about $1,400. So I'll bring that up as well. So this is actually a lot stronger month for us than what we would expect or what we typically see. We're usually around 1,000 or less. And the reason for that is we actually prioritized it. So over the last couple of months, we've actually made it a point to go in and start adding some affiliate links where it makes sense to do so. So we like to keep our risk low. So we don't put a lot of affiliate links into our articles, but if it makes sense to put an affiliate link in there, we will do so. So the way we do it is, and it's not just with affiliate links, but what we do is we target our top performing articles first. So we track all of our stuff. We have a lot of spreadsheets. We streamline a lot of different processes. I'll go over these things in future videos, but basically what we do is we'll attack our top performing articles first and see, do they need internal links, external links, more images? Can we put an affiliate link in there? Does it make sense to put affiliate links in there? So that's what we'll do, and that's what we did over the last couple months with Amazon in particular. We went in to see, do the top performing articles need affiliate links? Most of them don't, but some of them do. Like I said, this is all informational content, so you're not going to have a lot of placements for affiliate links, but sometimes it does make sense. So if it made sense, we put some in there, and as you can see, we went up, a few $100s or whatever from the previous month. And this was not because of Prime Day, because actually I was expecting to see a jump during Amazon Prime Day for the 2 Prime days, and it was actually lower than most of the other days in the month. There was like no jump at all for some reason. So yeah, it was just because we prioritized it, and that's really all there was to it. And at the same time, so some of our other revenue, we had only $5 from Share a Sale, which last month we were, I think, over $100. And that was because we noticed that we were experimenting with Share a Sale, and we happened to notice that our conversion rate was so terrible compared to Amazon that it wasn't worth putting links in there. all we were doing is basically adding affiliate links to our articles, which we don't like to do in the first place because you're adding risk, but we weren't getting a return with it, so it wasn't worth the risk. So basically what we were doing is with Amazon, we have a conversion rate in June, I think, of like 18%, and with share sale, it was less than 1%. So we took most of those share sale links out, and we converted them to Amazon links, or just took the links out completely if it made sense to do that. So that's why you're only seeing $5 from share sale, and then a little bit of a bump from Amazon. Aside from that, we had about $15 in digital product sales. So we have one digital product on one website. It's a really good product. We're pretty happy with it, but we haven't marketed it at all. It's just sitting on the website, so sometimes people will just click on it and buy it. At some point in time, we'll probably put together a marketing plan and try to push that out there, but for now, it just brings in a trickle of income, and that's fine too. Then we have the last bucket here, print-on-demand sales for $65. Print-on-demand is basically where you create a design in your niche, and then people can basically purchase that design excuse me, on t-shirts, on coffee mugs, things like that. And every time they purchase something like that, you just get a royalty. So super easy, just another income stream for us. It's not something we're focusing on, obviously, but it's always good to get some other income streams coming in. I mean, the more income streams you have, more you diversify, the less risk you have. So, and that's something that we need to work on ourselves, kind of diversify our income streams a little bit more. So as I mentioned in the last video, revenue is only half of it. It's no good if you don't see the expenses as well. So if you want to see the expenses down to the penny in detail, just go over to the website. But I'll at least point out the big ones here in the video. So we have 3 big buckets. So the biggest one is outsourced content for about $4,500. So we do write some of the content ourselves, but obviously we outsource the vast majority of it now. $4,500 is the biggest chunk. Images, $115 for stock images, and then hosting was $800 across the 5 sites. So that brings our total, and then there are a few other things around $25 or less. Like I said, you can see those on the site. That brings our total expenses to about $5,500 for June. So as far as the net profit, about $41,000 in revenue minus the $5,500 in expenses. That comes out to about $35,500 in net income or net profit for June. So that's, like I said, our biggest month yet, and we're super happy with it. We do expect to see that go down next month, but that's fine. As long as we're expecting it, we're not too concerned about it. But obviously, we're very happy to see hitting the best month yet like that. That's huge for us. So a couple other things I'll touch on real quick, and I'll just wrap this video up. So last video I mentioned that we were collecting email addresses with a tool from Mediavine, so an opt-in form. So basically you scroll down a page and then the background blurs out or grays out, and then the opt-in form kind of comes into focus. It's been super successful for collecting email addresses. We're still using it. So you can look on the site if you want to see how many email addresses we've collected so far. We don't really know what we're doing with these email accounts yet. We're sending out occasional informational posts, tips and things like that within our niche. We're also sending out a post recap every single week, so just an email that recaps a post and gets some clicks through to the site. Nothing crazy yet. We haven't really come up with a good way to monetize the list yet. Depending on what niche you're in, it can be really difficult to monetize an email list, and that's kind of what we're struggling with here. But mostly, we just haven't taken any time to try to figure it out. That's basically where we're at with it. We're on plans where once we collect 1,000 email subscribers per site, we're going to have to start paying to send out emails. So that's kind of the point where we're going to have to either dig in and figure out how we're going to monetize these lists, or we're going to just put them on hold or scrap it all together. We haven't really decided yet, but for now, we're just collecting email addresses. It's not really hurting anything. So future plans and goals, I'm not going to go into detail here. They're the same as last month. Basically, put Pinterest on hold because we think it's a sinking ship. Continue to grow the email lists, at least for now, until we decide what we're going to do with them. And then grow our YouTube channels on 2 of our sites. One, we've been posting once a week for about a year now. It's starting to finally gain some good traction, so we think that one's going to be successful. The other one, we posted a decent amount at a period of time that we haven't posted anything for a long time, so we're hoping to get back into that one again. Aside from that, we're just going to keep posting content at a high rate, continue to grow the sites. We have ideas for probably 2 to 3 new sites, but we're not ready to dive into them yet. We're probably going to wait until site number 5 has gained some traction and we start making some money on site 5, and then we'll probably start working on site number 6, and we'll just kind of take our time. We're not really in a hurry to start any new sites, but we do have those ideas. We're starting to do some keyword research on them and whatnot just to see if there's enough out there to pursue them. But just something that's on the back burner for us for now. So yeah, that's about it. So the reason that I want to put these income reports out, so a couple reasons. One, I just want to show you that it's possible to make this much money when all you're doing is producing content. We don't build any backlinks at all. We've never built a single backlink. We just produce informational content. We don't target anything product based, and yet you can see how much money you can make. So it is possible. Takes a long time. You got to be super patient. You got to be consistent. Put in the time, put in the effort. Don't make too many mistakes and do enough things right, and you can be very successful with it. So I just want to show you that it's possible. So, and then 2, I just want to motivate you guys with these videos, because for me early on, seeing these types of income reports, whether it was in video format or written, really helped to motivate me to keep me going. You know, and a lot of those reports that I saw probably weren't even legitimate, but either way, they just kind of motivated me to keep going until I earned that first dollar, the first $10, first $100, and so on. Once you prove that to yourself that it's possible, then you just kind of keep pushing and you kind of build momentum. So that's kind of my hope with these videos. And with that being said, after you do a few of these videos, they start to become repetitive. So at some point, I will probably slow down or stop. So let me know in the comments how often you want to see these income reports, and I'll just go from there. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons. I appreciate it. Hit that bell icon if you'll be notified of future videos. Make sure to head over to passiveincomeunlocked.com. I post a lot of new content over there, one article every single week. There's a lot of content that I'm posting over there that's not going to be in the videos. So a lot of that can be really helpful for you guys. Thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments you're leaving as well. And I will see you in the next one.